Okayest fam, welcome to the podcast where it's okay to embrace the chaos, celebrate the wins, and laugh at the mishaps while navigating the wild ride of marriage, parenting, and everything in between with humor, honesty, and a healthy dose of humility, and of course, the more than occasional bad joke. Join us in being perfectly okay with being the okayest. The Okayest Husbands Podcast with your host, Christian, Nick, and Nowak.
Absolutely. And remember, if you want to stay connected with us beyond the airways, check us out on our social media platforms. You can find us on, do people still mistake and call it Twitter?
Yeah, they still,
all the time.
Formerly Twitter. You see that on Google now.
Do you? All right, or X, whatever, and that's, or Instagram, TikTok, and the good old Facebook. For all the big, well, I guess YouTube a little bit, kind of. We have a channel.
Yeah, we do.
There's nothing on it yet.
Well, there's stuff on it. It's just not Okayest Husbands stuff usually. Which my old stuff. Still funny to look at.
For the behind the scenes shenanigans.
And hey, if you got any burning questions, let's put them out by sending some emails our way at theokayesthusbands@gmail.com. We promise to reply faster than you can say this podcast the okayest, and Catfish can speak to that.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast apps like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, or whatever you get your podcast fix. It's like giving us a virtual high five, but it's 5 stars.
Gentlemen, you said it. And let's get into today's topic as we dive into the hilariously unpredictable world of raising kids while somehow miraculously aging ourselves. Today we talk about the evolution of parenting, how the job description changes from sleep deprived because of midnight feedings to now where it's I'm up waiting to hear a car pull into the driveway. We're talking about how parenting shifts gears as both we and our kids get older.
Wow.
I'm not getting older, my kids are.
Because there's a lot of changes, and we're in different aspects. Nick and I are closer than Ron is here to the freedoms. Like, I'm seeing the end of the babysitting area. I'm seeing the end of, like...
We have the babysitters now.
Right, we have the babysitters now. That's totally right. Or sometimes even, like, Friday, I asked Eli to go pick up Ian from school. So we had our transportation to and from school. There is some new anxieties that I could not even anticipate once one of your children starts driving.
I got time for that one.
You got a little time, but it happens.
Oh no, I got a lot of time.
So fast.
My oldest one has already said he's not driving.
That's what he says now.
He's too freaked out
That's
about it.
That's what he says now.
He's gonna be a teenager here in like a month. Wow.
I know. It's wild.
Seriously, it's like 2 weeks away. It's crazy.
My wife has 3 babies.
She only gave birth to 2 of them.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about it. Early parenthood.
Parenthood.
Isaac parenthood. Yeah, good call. Good call. So, early
he hasn't
parenthood.
Emailed you, has he?
What?
He just texts Christian. He doesn't email you, huh?
No, he doesn't send those emails in. Why? I don't know.
He hasn't texted me in a while either.
I'm not sure if he's following us either.
Stopped listening.
Last thing he said was he was excited to get a shirt that have not come in. So maybe that's why he's not listening. He thought I was just asking his shirt size out of curiosity, and now I'm being a dick. It's not the case. So I
reach out to people all the time, like, "Hey, what's your shirt size?" Just to make them think they're getting something.
So Isaac, I wasn't just asking. You do have a shirt on the way. We just got to get ours too.
Yeah,
just got to get here. So it's been reordered and hopefully be in soon. And then I don't know, my shirt guy's slow as well. So in many ways.
As I was going to say, like in the speed of getting the work done or mentally. Huh?
But back to being a father. In those Isaac years, the stress all comes from fatigue, I think. You're tired because they don't sleep well. Or if you do have a baby that sleeps well, fuck you. I hate you because you had a baby that slept well.
My first one was a tease, and she did. She slept very well. My second one, on the other hand, he has never been a sleeper.
No, he doesn't like it at all. Huh?
Never has.
The nighttime is the right time.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, he doesn't stay up extremely late. Occasionally he will playing video games, but he, like, even as a baby, he would take a 2-hour nap, and that was max. Never really slept through the night. My daughter, on the other hand, sleeps through everything.
all my boys had like acid reflux, so they were always like they had to be sitting up to fall asleep, or they would, and like the colic would it was bad.
That sounds awful.
It was horrible. Like with Will, I would sleep out on the couch with him, which on his first night home, I lost him in the couch, and Shannon came out and found him.
Wait, what? What did
Have I not told this story?
No, I've never heard this. Go ahead.
On our first night home, the deal
he was
was
just going to breeze over that. Like,
nothing happened. You sure this isn't why he has problems today? No, it's the lead in the water.
Paint chips.
So when we were still living in the apartment when Will was born, we came home, and the kind of deal was, because I was still working hourly at that time and finishing up school, so I would, but the deal was I would take Will for late night feedings, because Shannon never produced milk, so she never.
So you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
So all my boys were formula fed. So with Will, I would wake up when he would get up. I would, change his diaper and get him a bottle, and then we'd go out on the couch, and I would usually turn like Netflix on and watch stuff until I fell asleep, which we would usually be asleep within 45 minutes to an hour.
Now, how do you do with low sleep? Are you good on low sleep?
Used to be.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I need 8. I really need 8.
Even if you're good on low sleep, you should be getting that. In some adults, it is okay for 6. I follow a doctor who said, some adults,
some people are,
okay. But that 8-ish hours of sleep, everybody should be getting it.
Yeah. And
see, that's for me. The older I get, the more important that has been to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, 4 hours, I was good. I was solid.
Well, that I used to go. What was it? In high school, switching topics here real quick. I would stay up until about 4 in the morning or so, and then because we'd be playing online, because the only time you could get online because we had the modem, and we would play like Battlefield 1942 online, and we would play till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we would
1942's pre-catfish. Damn.
And we would play at we would play, and I would get about 2 hours of sleep, and by 6 o'clock I'd have to wake up and go to school, and that was junior, senior year, and sometimes I was getting 45 minutes at most, and I would sleep through class.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't getting a lot, and then having soccer practice after school, and then still not go back to sleep. So there were times in my life where I barely slept.
Man.
But then in my late 30s, I finally started getting, I need at least 4 hours. And then I had this weird habit of I would get 4 hours and then be up for like 3 or 4 and couldn't get back to sleep, and then I would sleep for like 2. But now I'm to a point where I'm getting closer to more like a 6 hour to an 8 hour with very few interruptions in between. It's gotten better. But I have a lot less stress in my life now, so that's why. Get more sleep in.
When there's more time to sleep, it's easier to do, right?
Oh, yeah. Makes a difference in stress.
All right, so, but back to your story.
So with the boys, with
No, your
with
story.
Will, with Will, and then I fell asleep, and I didn't have a way. Like, we had the cushions that came off the couch, and I'm laying on there, and I hadn't found a way to really sleep up there with him yet. But I'd fallen asleep on the couch with him, but he had slipped and gone head down in the cushions.
What?
And Shannon came out and grabbed him and pulled him out, and he was okay.
Head down.
Head down in the cushions.
Wow.
Next to me. So from then on, I would always take the cushions that were on the back, and I'd put them on the side of the couch, and I would lean with my back into the nook, and he would always lean on my right side, and then the cushions would be down next to the couch so that if he rolled off, he would. But yeah, that's how I spent early mornings with Will.
So I was good on lower sleep back in the day when our kids were smaller, where Emily's not good on low sleep. I'm not good when I'm hungry. Like, I'm aware of that. Like, if the belly is growling, I'm going to be an asshole, basically, is the way it all breaks down. But so I decided I didn't want her to do the nighttime routine alone, because then she would feel not only fatigued, but like she was doing it herself. So the kids slept on my side of the bed. My role was I would change their tire, change the diaper. I would hand them off.
Change their tires. And
hand them off. She would feed them. Then she'd give them back. I would burp them, rock them, put them back in the bassinet on my side of the bed. And believe it or not, Eli had the softest little cry. Like, I had to be so in tune with him because he was so soft and so quiet with everything he did. And he was snuggly, and now he's this bristly goat screaming porcupine now all of a sudden. That was our nighttime routine, was just so that way she wasn't alone in it. But it started even weighing on me, even though I was good with low sleep, because my kids did not sleep in. Like, I joke with people and I say it was 14 years. But honestly, for 14 years, I was up before 6 a.m. every single day. And that was usually waking up at night with at least one of them, or sometimes multiple of them, because my kids never slept in. And, like, we got to the point where we started having an older one who could pour bowls of cereal and turn on the TV and have the electric babysitter for a few hours or an hour while we got some more sleep. But
that was us around COVID. When that happened for us. So, because Gus was probably about 4 at that time. Yeah, he'd have been about 4. And the other 2 would be old enough to get stuff going and turn on the TV. But yeah, because
I will say that's the plus to having 5 years between my 2 kids. I mean, we got one, had all the practice, was not sure if we were having another one, to all of a sudden starting completely over.
Yeah.
Being out of that whole routine.
Yeah, 5 years is a long time in between.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, we were out of diapers for a long time, just getting out. I mean, the nice thing is we were out of diapers and then started over. We were out of daycare, started over.
Well, we had a kid in diapers for 7 straight years.
yeah, that
Sometimes 2.
yeah, that's because we had with Will. Will, I think, had just gotten out of diapers when. No, he was still in diapers because we have pictures. Will was still in diapers when Mac was born. Then, because we went from 11 to 14 and then 16, and so when Gus was born, Mac was definitely still in diapers, but we transitioned him out during that time too. But yeah, we went from 2011 until about 20.
Yeah, Carly loves shitting her pants.
2019 or so, where we had diapers. Yeah,
My son still loves to shit his pants right now.
8 years.
Carly loves shitting her pants. She'd go hide in a corner and he'd be like, "Are you pooping?" She's like, like, dude, you know it. Like, go to the bathroom.
Well, it took forever for our little one to be like potty trained, and now he's afraid of flushing toilets and stuff, and it's just.
We tried everything.
So shits on him, but leaves it?
Cheerios.
Oh yeah.
We tried everything. The Cheerios, sticker charts, buying toys.
What's the Cheerios? You throw them in the toilet and it's like, hey, I'm in here.
Yeah. You hit the Cheerios, and I'm like, hey.
With turds?
I said, sometimes. I said to Emily, I was like,
I'll make it a sink.
I was like, what happens if you end up with a split stream? She was like, what do you mean split stream? I'm like, never mind.
Well, there's a reason I don't use our downstairs toilet anymore.
Because of your split streams?
If you guys can't control where you pee, I'm like, I have no clue what's coming out.
Yeah.
If I knew what was going to happen, I would.
Ours is Gus, because he'll just lift up the lid enough to go pee.
Just enough.
I like it. I like it.
So as soon as see where he's going, so it just goes straight out the back, and it gets everywhere. And so we know when there's pee in there that it's all Gus.
So I get yelled at now because we have just I call it closet shower, or I soap the walls and spin in there. That's the way I wash. Lauren's like, when are you going to start peeing in the toilet again? I'm like, I'm not. The shower is my urinal. I just open the door and piss in there now all the time.
Gross.
I turn the water on while I'm doing it, so it washes it right down.
Like a locker room shower, right? Yeah. Just run the shower while you're going.
Have I ever told you guys the story of when Eli was an infant, me going to Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning?
No.
All right.
To get diapers?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I wait. He wakes up. I get him up. I go to change a diaper, and I reach down in the little basket under the bassinet that's supposed to carry all the diapers. There's no diapers. So I hand them off, and I'm like, hey, I got to go get more diapers. And she was like, okay, I'm pretty sure there are some in the closet where we kept all of his diapers, or in the diaper bag. And I'm like, okay. So I go into his room, go into the closet. We got 2 empty boxes of diapers in there. And I'm like, okay. So I go out to the car, and I reach into the diaper bag, and there's nothing. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, so I walk back in. I look at the clock. It's just a little, like, 2:58 or 2:56, something like it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So I grab a dish rag thinking she's going to be like, just get a dish rag. It'll be okay. And then she goes, do you want to go to Walmart? And I was like, yes. I didn't, but I thought yes was the correct answer. So I was like, I'll go. So I walk into Walmart, and surprising how many people are at Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning was surprising. A lot of them were staff members, but I start, and you guys know me, I'm not the kind of guy that's like, I enjoy shopping. And if you remember, Eli's born in the fall, so they probably had Christmas sweaters and shit that I would really want to look at, but not tonight. I was on a mission. Like, I'm thinking,
just go get it, and it's at the
get your
fucking
diapers,
back.
go home. Yeah. So I'm walking in by the food there. I walk past all the women's clothing, and I'm like, get your diapers, go home. And then I see cresting out of one of the aisles the most full cart I've ever seen my entire life. Like, this woman at one point was a Tetris master because her stacking skills were crazy. This cart stood almost as tall as I was, and I'm sure weighed more than I do. And I weigh a lot. So I see that, and I'm like, okay, her night's worse than mine. And so then I'm continuing to walk, and I'm like, just get your stuff and go home. And then I see a woman coming out of an aisle carrying a basket, and she just has a few items. She's dressed real nice. She's got like on her dress. I'm like, okay, young. She was probably partying. Cool, good for her. But she wants to go down the aisle that's now being blocked by that huge fucking cart. And she just gently pushes the front corner so she can sneak by. And the woman goes, bitch, why are you touching my cart? And she responds back by calling her the C word and throwing her basket and saying, you ain't talking to me like that. And these two women come face to face, just screaming and cussing at each other. And first thought, now, this was what? He's almost 18, so 17 years ago. I wasn't even carrying a cell phone. I'm not even sure I had a cell phone. If I did, it was like a flip one.
Wow.
So I didn't even have it with me. So I wasn't thinking World Star because I wasn't recording shit. I didn't have a camera on my phone, I don't think. If I did, it sucked like my dad's.
Yeah, it was a 1 megapixel.
But, yeah. So I'm thinking, just go get your stuff. And then I'm like, or I could try and do something. I could get some of those staff members I saw to come help these two women. So that way there's not a fight. Nobody goes to jail tonight. All of a sudden, we're the only three people in
there and
Walmart.
watch it.
I could have. But then my heart reminded my brain that I like people and I got to try and do something. I mean, I didn't have to, but I chose to. So I just walked up and I was like, hey, ladies, if we get what we need, we can just go home. And then walked on and got the diapers. I figured if neither of them responded to that, if they go to jail, that's on them now.
Yeah.
I tried something. I wasn't going to get in the way because I also wasn't trying to get beat up by two women at 3 o'clock in the morning at 3:30 a.m. and call my wife from the St. Joe County Jail and be like, hey, babe, could you come bail me out? And by the way, we'll still have to stop and get those diapers you sent me for because I just got beat up by two women at Walmart at 3:30 a.m. So I said that and I walked away, and the woman with the nice dress goes, you know what, that guy's right. And she cleaned up her shit and decided to go down another aisle, and that woman goes, bitch, that's why you're walking away. But she just continued to walk away. So nothing happened. And then I get home. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. Here's what just happened to me. And I tell her this whole story I just told you. She goes, that's not true.
No, at Walmart, I could totally see that.
To this day, my wife doesn't believe that's a true story.
I still don't understand why you broke it up.
I like people. I didn't want those ladies to go to jail. Plus, that woman, if she's doing that kind of shopping at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, what's going on in her life? Like, she didn't need jail. She didn't need to deal with all that.
Nobody was going to jail. Walmart would have let him just work it out.
All right, if I'm being honest with you, the woman that was pushing the big cart would have demolished that young girl. It would not even have been nice. Like, maybe she didn't get arrested, but that girl's going to the hospital for sure. So, and I didn't want that to happen either. So, but just different stresses, just completely different. And then they start to get a little older. And like, Nick, we were talking about this last night while we were hanging out. Like, once we have our third, all of a sudden, everything's an event. Going to Target, there's no such thing as running into Target for something. There's
I
an
never
event.
had a third, so.
Even at 2, when you start over like that, it makes it an event. Like, where you can't just run into somewhere real quick. You have to get everybody dressed. You got to get them all strapped into the car. You got to make
clothes.
Oh my god!
Throw up extra diapers. Make sure you have diapers for the 2 that still need them.
And then you get in, and they don't want to be in their jackets, so you have to strip them. And you're pushing around a cart full of shit, and you just walked in the door.
Oh, we barely went shopping with the kids. We almost never did because it was just a mess. It was never worth it. And And then you'd have to get the big cart for the bigger ones.
We call it the dad cart.
Yeah.
Because mom wouldn't push it.
And I do believe that there is a difference in the number of kids you have, too, in the way that it works out.
Yeah.
I mean, when we only had the 2, so 2 of them, it was pretty easy because it was always just one-on-one.
Yeah. And then we have,
when
multiple.
Start playing zone.
Yeah.
I'm like, Emily, you got this one. I got this one. Then we're like, oh, shit, where's the third one?
And then you're getting them into the car, different seats, different places. Like, we had the van for the longest time with the little one.
Then you could have a vehicle with a third row or something in it.
And then as they get a little bit bigger, they become a little bit more dependent, but you still got to wait for them to get out. You're holding hands.
Totally right.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to do the shopping that we have to do, so they want to go to another section. And, like,
yes.
I'm not trying to bring this down and make this too seriously, but people be aware that that's where kids get taken.
The toy section never changes.
The toy section is a dangerous place for unsupervised children.
We used to be at the magazine rack. That's where we went.
They don't even have that shit anymore.
Not really as big as it used to be, but
Martin's got one.
Well, that's the thing. We would go to Martin's, and my brother and I would go over to the magazine rack because we'd go look at the video game magazines and everything. And
speaking of that, I saw Mad Magazine at Meijer this week.
I saw
bringing it back.
It's a Star Wars spoof one, and I was gonna buy it $15 for a single copy.
It was probably all the stuff they ever did on Star Wars. Is what it is. It's probably a collection.
So I saw a TikTok the other day, kind of going on about this. That it was about, if you remember Walmarts from like the 90s, and how the electronics section you kind of had to check into to get in to look at stuff.
Sears was like that
how
too.
Everything was all clean and compact. And
remember went in once when we were in college. Oh, I shouldn't have said. I need to beep that.
That was
I bought us a beep, by the way.
That was Hassan.
Yeah.
Hassan.
He was playing with the cameras. They had the cameras shooting in, and then you could see them on the monitor, so you could see how good the camera was.
You could see outside, like on the outside of what people are doing there.
Yeah. He had his wiener out.
He had the front of his pants open.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying that. Good call, Nick. So there's where we start to adjust.
He was like, "We look at my weenie."
Hey, I got in trouble for that, not him. I did get kicked out of Meijer. I was because I covered myself up with Funyuns and Doritos, and then so I had, was it you? I had you bury me?
No.
I don't know who it was then. So they buried me under, I laid on the floor right by the chips, and then they put Funyuns and Doritos all over me, and I waited there until a staff person came to put them all away, and I jumped out and was like, ah! And I got suspended from Meijer. I wasn't allowed to go there for a few months.
So that same Walmart trip, we're walking down the toy aisle, and one of the things they talked about in this TikTok that I saw was how you'd bounce a ball down the aisle the whole way. So we're walking by, kids sitting there pulling the ball out of the bottom, tossing it into the top, pull the ball out of the bottom, toss it in the top. We had all enjoyed in some beverages, adult beverages, before we went.
And then he went full Dikembe Mutombo.
And we're walking down. I go, if the kid's taking a shot, when I get over there, I'm smacking it down the aisle. Oh, he started taking a shot as I got down there, smacked it down the aisle. The only next thing I heard was his mom go, "See, that's why you don't play around in these aisles like that."
So, but that's where we start to get to kids as things change. Like, yes, everything was an event when they're a child. And then you start getting these others. And then you have this whole nother world of, I'm not sure where my son is at. Thank God for cell phones now and
where you can track
their ability to track your child.
Like, I couldn't imagine, like, our parents having no friggin' clue where we were. We even though we told them we're at so-and-so's house, and nobody was where they told them.
That's it, yeah. And so Eli told me that he was going to a friend's house, and when I looked, he wasn't where he said he was supposed to. So I just followed the Apple track to right where he was at, pulled up in the driveway. He was like, "Dad, that's creepy." I'm like, "Get in the car right now." Like, but this is where it all starts. All these new worries. When you start going to late middle school and high school, these kids have these freedoms and have friends that you don't know. You don't know if you can trust them. You don't know their families. You don't know. Like, up until that point, you know all those people. So it becomes wild. And now where Eli tells us, I need to go pick up Megan. That's his girlfriend. I got to go pick up Megan from work at 11 o'clock at night on a Thursday. And I'm like,
It's our daughter the other day who's planning to go to the prom this year with a friend of hers. And some boy that is... Nope.
Oh.
Nope. It's a boy. She's one of the boy that she's friends with. So this other boy has shown interest in her. Plays on the school's volleyball team.
Oh, that's right. They have a volleyball team now, don't they?
they have a boys volleyball team?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I wish I had
cool.
boys volleyball when I was in high school. I would have played.
So they, this boy has shown interest in her, but instead of coming and talking to her, went to her friends like, "What's her Instagram? What's her Snapchat?"
That is so stupid.
Like, just go to her and ask her.
Kind of creepy.
Like,
No, it is. It totally is. But this is the new world. Like, I coached Eli through this. He wanted to work at Martin's. And so we filled out an application, and he was like, I don't know, how do I hear anything? He was like, what if they never call me? And I'm like, no. That's not how you do this. You go, you call them, and you're like, hey, when are interviews for this job? I applied. And they're like, well, actually, the job's full. And he was like, yeah, but I applied, and you're going to make a... And I was like, tell them, they're going to make a mistake by not hiring you. And he was like, so he did that, and they're like, yeah, sorry, we're done hiring. Next couple days later, I took him in there, and I'm like, I want you to go up to that desk, ask for the manager that you talked to on the phone, and be like, I'd really like to do an interview for this position. So he does that, and then she decides to hire him. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden, he starts working there. I'm like, this is the thing. Be direct. This is where you have to go old school. Like, we're Generation X. Are you Generation X?
No, I'm a millennial. I'm
You're a
early.
millennial?
I'm a
Okay.
neo or whatever.
Okay. So you still
I'm a
have the
zennial.
benefit of, like, remembering before internet and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on that edge, and we're Generation X.
Zennial, I think, is what we're called.
But Generation X, you had to pursue the
Right.
job. You had
You
to
wanted
show
something, you had to
them
go get
that
it.
you wanted that job. Same thing with a girl or a boy or a whatever you want to date.
Well, that's-
show them that you want them. So he was like, well, I'll try and get her snap from one of her friends. I'm like, no, you approach her and you go, look, I think you're gorgeous.
No.
And I was just wondering if you'd want to go out with me.
Now, here's one of the things. She asked if she could go out with him, and I said, well, he has to come here. We have to meet him. We're still old school when it comes to that. And she was telling us today at breakfast the way he was just like, well, do I bring flowers for your mom also?
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I kind of like this kid already. He's asking those kind of questions.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, one, he shouldn't have to ask. He should just know, grab the flowers, and can't go wrong with just a cheap little couple of flowers or something.
Why not?
Or you go take pictures like this, like my my brother-in-law and his girlfriend.
Are they the ones that just got married?
Kind of. I wouldn't do that with my wife. But I guess, like, when you're couples, I guess people do that. You know?
People do?
We did it with our kids.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Bringing up pictures. We still do that every so often. Now that the boys are older, though, we do it less.
Well, it's so our firstborn. We had the 1 year pictures, the 2 year pictures, everything.
Yep.
Secondborn.
One of the best Mother's Day gifts I gave Emily was one. I took the
Facial?
kids and we got pictures taken,
Pearl necklace.
just the four of us, and I gave her pictures. I got each individuals of them and then them with me, and that was one of the best Mother's Day gifts I ever gave her. But you're totally right. Why not get the mom some flowers?
Well, what's funny is my daughter playing sports. After one of her tennis matches this year, a girl from the other team that she played against comes up to her and goes, "Hey, what's your snap? Maybe we can get together and play tennis at the courts at my house."
Oh,
Wow.
One, I'm like, where the fuck do you live? You have tennis courts at your house.
that's not going to be close to us.
Two, or you turn them into pickleball courts because I'll be there.
Like, how far of a drive am I going to have to make for you to go hang out with a friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are good friends to have, though.
They can't make bodies disappear.
Oh, yes, they can. They don't
No,
do
their
it.
parents can.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, this whole new stress of teenage, like, and I worry about Carly's safety even more in a department store now.
Well, like, we're at the point now where we can trust the kids at home for a couple hours by themselves.
Yeah.
Like, Will, not a problem. Mac, pretty much not a problem. He's old enough. But Gus is the one we worry about. And like I said, Shannon and I started pickleball together, and we usually get date nights Friday night now where we just go and we leave the boys at home and we go play pickleball every so often and come home and bring home dinner, and that's our Friday night. but we get to spend more time. That's the best part. We're starting to spend more time together. And then, like, this morning, for groceries, we went out together and left the boys at home for an hour while we went grocery shopping, and that's been huge.
Yeah, it's amazing, and you notice it when that transition starts happening. You notice it, and like having Eli to be able to go get Ian from school or something like that is a huge assist for us. Yet at the same time, there's two of my kids with an inexperienced driver, so he had just started driving, and during the winter time,
It was Halloween.
Was it Halloween time? Why did he not have his car? Oh, it was getting repaired. So it was at the shop getting repaired. So he's driving my mom's car, and I'm sitting at work, and he calls me. He's like, "Dad, somebody just hit me." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Oh, that was after dropping him off at school and heading to Clay.
Yeah. So he had gone to Clay,
Halloween
and he
is
was
when he
coming
took
back.
Ian, and they were going to Taco Bell or something. And did you hear about him doing the 360?
He spun out. Yeah, he spun out in his Mustang. So because it's light on the snow, he did a complete 360 and it scared the shit out of Ian.
It's rear-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, 92 Mustang, so it spins out real easy. But he calls me, he's driving my mom's car, and he's like, somebody rear-ended me by Notre Dame. He goes, right where the flashing lights are so the students can cross the street. And I was like, I know exactly where you're at. I'm on my way. And I get there, and yeah, it was another kid who just rear-ended him, and then they got rear-ended. And so it did some damage to my mom's car, which completely got fixed. No big deal, but like my heart dropped. Like you have this whole new level of stress. Like, yes, there's some relief because you don't have that hustle and bustle and everything's an event, but yet I can't sleep till he's home. When he says I'm going to get Megan at 3 o'clock in the morning or at 11 o'clock, not 3 o'clock. Sorry, that was my story. When he says he's going to get Megan at 11 o'clock, I'm not going to sleep until he walks in that door.
I get it.
That's just the stress has just changed. The events are just different now. Like Carly the other day. So she's 15 years old now, and she's a beautiful young lady, and all of her friends are beautiful young ladies. And they were like, for this one girl's birthday, we're all just going to go hang out and walk around the mall together. And I'm like, holy shit.
Do you know what happens at the mall?
Oh, my God.
There's like a shooting every other week.
And predators and everything else. Like I said to Emily, I was like, should I drop her off and then go like around to another area and park and like do the creepy dad following behind them, but they don't know I'm following behind them? She was like, no, you have to trust them. And I'm like, it's not that I don't trust them. It's those creepers around them that really
the same reason I don't want to leave my house.
It's not me.
You're afraid you're going to get abducted?
In the winter, it's not my driving.
It's too many
crazies.
I'm just in that situation now where it's a whole new event of worry. It's a whole new event, and it actually feels more scary to me, even though it's easier for me.
Well, I don't live in the bayou. I don't want to have to kill somebody.
Right.
Get rid of the bayou? Yeah. You know, where he's a Louisiana gator feeder. Remember that from a couple weeks ago? There's a guy I follow on YouTube where he was talking about how he moved out of Manhattan just across the bay into New Jersey because not only it was cheaper, but he's like, it was because of the people around him. It was like the subway's crazy. You can't do anything on the subway. He's like, you take your kid. He's like, I got a newborn. And I just didn't feel safe with that kid in Manhattan anymore. So I totally get it.
So here was my latest event. Eli had 4 friends that he works with. They all wanted to take the train to Chicago and just be them in Chicago. And I'm like, all right.
Don't be just you in Chicago, trust me.
Yeah, no, not just you. But so him and 4 of his friends are going to go to Chicago, and they're taking the train in. And I said to my wife, Emily, I was like, I don't like this at all. Like, there's no part of this that makes me want to be part of it. At the same time, I'm less than 6 months away from him being 18. So I almost have to trust him to do these kind of things from time to time because pretty soon I can't stop it.
As long as he's under your roof,
I can't stop it. But, like, I want to be able to trust him to do those things. So I was like, hey, tell all your buddies I want an itinerary. So, like, if they were planning on being real loose with this, that's not happening. You're not going unless I have an itinerary.
Yeah.
I want to know where you're supposed to be. I want to be able to look and see that you're at those locations. And I said, as a matter of fact, I don't want anybody to pay for parking. Have everybody meet me where they work at the supermarket. And I said, I'll drive everybody to the train station.
Yeah.
I don't care what time it comes home. 11:15 it came home. PM.
That sucks.
I was hoping for earlier.
So this
But
actually
I
did
kept-
happen.
Yeah,
then,
it happened. So I had to go and take him and drop off. But I spent more time on my phone that day tracking his phone to make sure he was where he said he was. And he was very responsible. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was always where he said he was going to be. And I was very impressed. And they got home, and then he tells me the story of this guy that's on the train, the South Shore, heading to Chicago. And he's listening to his phone. They're like YouTube music on full blast. And he's just holding it up to his ear. He's not wearing earbuds or anything. And he's singing out loud to it. And then he looked at my son and goes, "Is this loud?"
Nope.
And that's what Eli goes. I just shook my head no and just looked at the floor. I'm like, that is exactly what you're supposed to do.
Nope.
But this was a whole new, there was no way that I was going to sleep before he got home. I needed to know my son was back in this area.
Oh, yeah.
My car. Oh my God, dude. It just changes. It goes from losing sleep over stuff like diaper changes and babies waking up at night and you losing them in the couch.
And ladies fighting in Walmart.
You ladies fighting in Walmart to you have to give some faith, some trust. At the same time, know that you can't 100% protect them all the time. And that is so fucking hard. It's what's going to give me an ulcer. Like the thought of them being grown scares me so much. Them leaving me scares me so much. Yet, I want to be alone with my wife again.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that weird?
Nope.
Well, I'm still waiting for my kids to start doing like sleepovers because they really haven't done that at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's a thing anymore either, though. So
I don't think it's as much as when we were like.
Right.
That's what Lauren and I were talking about the other day. Is
LAN
the way
parties.
that like
Yeah.
the kids, everything is social media. That's how they communicate. Like when we were growing up, if I wasn't at my house, my parents knew I was at my cousin's or the Ginters back behind, or
Or in that little set of woods that was
right,
behind
right.
the house.
I mean,
yeah.
they knew ballpark where I was, even though we didn't communicate anything. We didn't have tracking devices back then.
We had the whistle. That was
Right.
our tracking device. Time to fucking go home.
Well, and that's but that's the thing though, is like we all hung out together. Like we were talking about this, the way that like I have no clue who my daughter's friends' parents are.
Right?
But when I was growing up, my parents knew all of my friends' parents, and
Absolutely.
see, at least right now, my boys hang out with all the kids on the block, and we got kids from like 8th grade all the way down to 1st grade on the block. But there's between that age range, there's like 9 or 10 boys.
And the hard part
And
about
the
that,
parents talk to each other.
and this is a new thing in our kids' generation, is we don't know them because a lot of them don't live close to us anymore. All of our friends that we went to school with were in our neighborhood.
because we
And
had
my
schools
parents
like
knew
now-
the other parents.
and
you
now
had
that's not
community
the
school.
case.
Now
Right.
you have school of choice.
Right.
Well, look at my kids. My kids go to Napanee, and they're down there because of our situation.
Right.
But it's my wife knows a bunch of those families because she's had their kids, the siblings of my kids' friends, and we do stuff down there too. So we do basketball down there. I mean, right now we're doing soccer over here at Newton Park, and we're doing ball at Southeast. So we get to know other people, but not knowing, that's so weird because my dad knew all those people, and all
Yeah.
those parents, like, you knew who they were.
I remember being at Target with Ian one day, and he said, this adult was like, "Hey, Ian," and I'm like, he's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I was like, and I'm like, "Hold on, I don't know who the fuck this person is. Like, you have an adult acquaintance that I don't know who this is. I'm not cool with this, but
How about instead of saying, "Hey, Ian, hi, Ian's dad.
yeah, right." No, that wasn't how it went down at all.
Hey, Ian, come with me. I've got candy."
He would go in a second. All right, guys, we've talked about generations of change and what you have coming that I'm dealing with now, that Nick's about to deal with as his daughter's approaching driving as well. Like, it does help you, yet like,
Isaac, it just changes.
it does. It changes.
It
It's
doesn't
gonna
get
be
any different. It just changes.
Didn't even bring up blowing off hands or anything at 4th of July because my kid's already talking about, when we go to Milovich's this summer, can I let off fireworks again?
Oh, my God. No, that's Mr. Nick's job.
I don't know. I think Nick's starting to...
I might outsource it.
Yeah. He's so excited for it.
Dude, you love the fire. There ain't no way you're outsourcing that.
But I love to watch the fireworks too.
It was
When
so
you're running
good.
back, looking up, it's not the same. Hey,
right. That's
But yeah,
fair.
that is a
That's
new
fair.
stressor because he's like, I want to blow stuff up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
mean,
did
who
too at your
doesn't,
age.
right?
Yeah, Eli's totally the same.
But the thing is like with my youngest and your kids' ages and all that, like we used to sneak that shit because you couldn't get it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And now it's like, if your parents will allow you, I don't care. Hey?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, you're the cautious one. Go for it, bud.
All right. So, what's your okayest advice coming from this changing of children?
It just changes. It mutates. Because eventually it's going to be like, well,
Mutate, that's a good way to put it.
is my kid okay at his new house, and what kind of plumbing do I have to go do over there for him? That I hate doing plumbing.
Yeah. And I just think about it, and it's for me, it's different, but it doesn't change. If that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
You still
stress
have the
stays
same
the same.
stress as everything. It's just a different type of stress, but the levels stay the same.
I'm going to say follow your gut. There are times you have to tell them no, even as they're approaching that older age and they want to do those things and it's just too unsafe. Follow your gut and be willing to say no, but explain it.
Yeah.
Don't just say no because I said so like our parents did. Say no and explain. Like, man, dude, Chicago's just not a real safe place to be right now. Like, yeah, and if they're like, hey, let's go check out O Block, you go, no, I'm not going
Let's go to
O
Stony
Block.
Island.
Yeah, like, be careful. Know where you're going into. Do the research. Yet
Go hang out around Comiskey.
trust your children. Like, allow them to experience some life because that's what's going to make them be cautious and make good choices even when they're in those things. Because if you don't give them the permission to do it, they're going to figure out a way to do it anyway. Just open up that line of communication like I did with Eli. And luckily, he did exactly what he said. Because he could have. And what are the repercussions? I couldn't do shit about it if he didn't do what I asked him to do. But he totally did because I gave him the trust.
Yeah.
Or at least he left his phone in an area where you thought he was there.
And there ain't no way he's leaving his phone anywhere because he's also got to check in with his girlfriend. And if he wasn't available when she contacted him, that shit wasn't happening. I mean, they went to the aquarium, they walked down to the Lego store, they got dinner, and they came home. Like, that's completely innocent. It's completely honest. And like, I did it. But it's a different era.
They should have just road tripped. Somebody drove somewhere.
Well, we decided that day we actually ended up taking the kids out to Albany's candy store in was that
Maryville.
Maryville, okay. And
Hobart,
we
Maryville.
also went up just a little bit further to Dyer, Indiana, to Windmill Brewing because my kids wanted to meet Luther the cat that hangs around the tap room up there.
Did you see their changes, though?
What's that?
Luther's going to have to stay with the Brewers now. Can't be out and about. They're going to start serving food.
Oh, good for them.
They got a food truck.
Oh, very good. So, but we went up there to check all that out, and I was like, hey, we're only like 40 minutes out of Chicago at this point. Maybe we should just go be where Eli's at.
No.
Listen to this. They went to the water tower place, the mall.
Yeah.
Anybody under the age of 18 wasn't allowed to go in the mall. They all had to sit down in the lobby. So if a family showed up, anybody under age 18 had to stay in the lobby while the parents went up into the mall. My kid and his friends figured out how to go up and end up going in from a second level at one of the department stores, so they got in without being 18. Yeah, he said there were so many. He was like probably 50 kids under the age of 18 just standing in the lobby of Water Place in downtown Chicago.
See, and that seems like that's starting.
That exactly right. But that's because the police were let known that there was some weird shit happening around the water tower place.
Because you have 50 fucking kids under 18 right there unsupervised.
Well, Chicago's just wild.
It's true.
Well, it's like, why don't you just go to Indy or go up to like Grand Rapids or something?
Grand Rapids ain't much better. Neither Indy's pretty bad right now, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Kazoo. Let's go to Kazoo.
I like it. Battle Creek.
All right, boys. That's great advice. And I think that was a good episode.
Yeah.
Are you tired of the same old beer leaving your taste buds yawning? Well, fam, secure your hoppiness with a taste bud exploration waiting for you at the Lakeville Brew Crew.
That's right. Nestled in the heart of cozy little Lakeville, Indiana, the Lakeville Brew Crew is your ticket for craft beer, nostalgia, and small town hospitality.
Picture this. A sip of their sweet chocolate and caramel milk stout, Bullwinkle's Quest, and suddenly you're transported back to simpler times when life was as easy as Sunday morning eating that breakfast, watching your morning cartoons, and the only worry was Bullwinkle going to finally pull a rabbit out of his hat.
And let's not forget Total Wattage, Orange IPA. It's like a nostalgic hug from your favorite childhood Muppet, with a hoppy twist that'll make your taste buds dance the truffle shuffle like Chunk from Goonies.
Whether you're a seasoned beer drinker or just dipping your toes into the craft beer pond, the LBC's brews are crafted with love, laughter, and a hint of that good old Lakeville charm.
So what are you waiting for? Grab your beer drinking buddies and join us at the Lakeville Brew Crew, 124 South Michigan Street, 46536, where every pint is a journey down memory lane and every sip is a toast to good times.
Cheers to that.
And remember, drink responsibly, but laugh like you heard your favorite fart joke.
Well, if you're feeling constipated, well, you should probably get some prune juice or apple juice. But if you're backed up on those questions... Yeah. Email us at the Okayest Husbands at gmail.com. Hit that subscribe and download button and join us for more laughs at the mishaps. Or check out our YouTube channel.
Keep listening from your favorite podcast app for more of the Okayest Husbands. And remember, we do it for you.
Aw, that's true. We do this for you.
Yeah.
You said we do.
We do. Bye for now, fam. And remember, keep it Okayest. Love you.